Okay, testing. Looks like we are good. Morning, traders. All right, today is, I think, day 23 of my challenge, and it's Friday, August 8th on NQ. 1 minute until open, so kind of started recording here a little later than I was hoping for, but that's all good. I don't think I'm going to be seeing a setup right away. I think it might take a little bit of time. I'm overall bullish. I would really like to see the market trade down and then trade up. It can do whatever it wants, and it may very well trade up before it trades down, but I don't have a trade right here. So we're below midnight opening. Would be sweet to long below midnight open. What I want to see. We've had a couple of seek and destroy sessions this week where 930 was kind of a floating seek and destroy kind of profile, and I'm keeping that in mind. Pull up ES and YM. Oh wow, the YM already took Asia's high. We've also seen this week one-sided 930 delivery. So the 930 macro is just delivering one-sided with no retracements, reversals to get in on. Strong closure on that 1 minute candle right there. Small regular trading hours gap below. So here's this accumulation phase. I wanted to see some kind of manipulation of it. Let's see. Good morning, Chris Polsel. Man, I haven't responded to your post yet, but London is like looking like such a nice session to trade, man. It looks easy. And it looks friendly. It makes me want to get up at 3 in the morning and take a look. Nice work, brother. All right, so popping over here. So on the 15-minute, I have these equal highs above. I would short above those. You can see on the 1 hour, excuse me, I was really wanting to see a drop down into this fair value gap for a long. We're kind of in this zone where in between PD arrays, you have a fair value gap above, a fair value gap below, a 4-hour BPR, and multiple times this week at 9:30, we've had this, excuse me, PD array salad thing going on right here, and it's caused the AM session to be seek and destroy. Yeah, dude, you're 2 hours ahead. That's awesome. For the first time ever, I had the thought of like, oh man, I kind of wish I lived down Florida on the East Coast or something the other day. It's like to be able to get in on the market at like 9 in the morning would be amazing, like real time. Because by the time you like wake up, you you pray and meditate and get food and coffee, and like I struggle to even get any movement in before because it's just I got to get up so early, and I know that's just me being a whiner, so I need to Goggins it right and just get the up. All right, I need to pay attention to the charts. All right, so here is this gap that's getting inverted. The only thing I'm struggling with here on this short idea is this PD array salad, which has been screwing me. lately. So we're getting this breaker here. Potentially. So that's a strong reaction there too. Kind of just waiting and seeing. Nope. No close below that inversion. I'm not opposed to just waiting. Whole week, the 930 macro has been not the preferred macro to trade. It seems like we've had 950 to 1030 is when price starts distributing if it doesn't do one stage delivery right at 9. Kind of studying that the other day, yesterday. So look at that, no closure below. Kind of like a 930 order block. And it's already, to me, I guess, starting to look like I might want to do that. But the markets only reflect back to you what you want to see. And I'm struggling with that concept. Something I was reading about last night. Markets are a mirror. When you're fearful, you won't see the opportunities. And when you're greedy, you'll see things that are not there. And when you're attached to an outcome for the day or for the trade, you won't see the truth as to what the candles are telling you. I'm trying to keep that in mind here today, going forward. And I noted how I felt before I came into the session. I noted I felt a little apprehensive. I had a winning streak, and then I had 4-ish losses in a row this week. So just noting that, like coming into this session with a little apprehension, feeling a little sheepish. You know, am I not going to see the opportunity because I'm a little fearful, right? Am I going to be a little greedy? At the same time, am I going to be a little greedy because it's Friday and it's the end of the week? And in my case, I think I've had 2 trades on this account, and I think it's slightly red for the week, like almost negligible, right? So I could count it as a break-even week if I just walked away today. And that's cool to some extent, like, you know, breaking. I've been trying to like shift my perspective a lot, that I get frustrated that I just can't get further forward at times. But yet being a break-even trader, you're still ahead of 90% of the curve. I've never blown a funded account. I have 9 of them or something, whatever the list is over there. 8 of them. You know? And then I get disappointed. I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough. So I'm paying attention to those feelings as I came into the market today. So far, more or less, oh, there's the first presented fair value gap coming for Asia's high. Let's pull up ES and YM. YM took Asia's high already. Yeah, I could short that. I would be happy to short Asia high. Looks like with ES already took Asia high earlier. That was Chris Postal. That was your trade. There was an SMT, must have been right in there. So time is 9:38 on this candle here. I'm not seeing anything nice. I don't look at this price action and think I missed anything. It is delivering. Look at here. So there was an inversion early this morning, a nice deep retracement. That's the other thing, deep retracements. This week has been deeper retracements. That's been getting me. That was my 2 losses. Were deeper retracements. I've been studying that. And I know people say to use the swing. In my experience, the swing isn't necessary most of the time, and that's where I struggle. It's like I finally tightened up my stop loss back to where I used to trade it when I was making forward progress and funded. So Asia high is taken. Kind of sizing this up here. SMT forming, Asia high. There's a 4-hour BPR there though. I'm just going to quickly size up. That way I'm understanding where, probably it's Friday, I should probably risk a little less. Time-wise, it is 9:40. Look at YM. YM is leading as usual. Last month or so, been noticing that. So we have, the assets are not in sync currently. ES and Q are in sync, forming higher highs. YM is leading by forming lower lows. Don't really have a nice higher time frame level. There's the consequent encroachment of probably the daily rejection block right there. It could just be bullish too. I mean, I'm overall bullish, so I don't actually want a short. I wanted a long. I wanted it to come down in here and give me a long. Like a massive breaker basically right here. But I'm not in a rush today. All right, so London, pre-New York high was taken, Asia high taken, blasting off. Look around a little bit. So here on the 4-hour is this consolidation that we're pulling out of. 4-hour BPR. These relative equal highs. So the 2 a.m. candle, 2 a.m. 4-hour candle was an inside candle. 10 p.m. candle stop hunted the 6 p.m. candle. One hour inverted that inversion, potentially inverting this fair value gap here too. Got 15 minutes left on this 1-hour candle. Did not get my swing down into there. Woo. So time to recalibrate. At this point, we have regular trading hours far below us. We don't need this anymore. Clean it up. Previous day high is still way above us. That's kind of my target. And we're getting one-sided delivery for the most part. There was this mini stop hunt here, order block kind of thing. I don't have any ability to get in on that. I don't really see my model down in here in any way that I could say wouldn't be forcing it. I guess that's kind of where my head is currently at, trying to justify, like, or well, did I miss it? And I'm just not seeing it. ES and NQ are still correlated. YM is doing its own thing. It's heading for London low on YM. Super strong push. And we have no news today, Friday, so the volatility injection was going to be 9:30. Zoom out just a bit. Is there any SMT down in here? That got me once this week where I think it was ES did the liquidity sweep. I'm looking for the smart money reversal on NQ, which macro is going to provide that smart money reversal, and ES did it. So I missed my trade on, I don't know whether it was Tuesday or something, because I wasn't paying attention to ES. But at this point, I'm not seeing SMT here, so maybe it was previously. So there is, let's see here. There is no bullish SMT down here that I can clearly see. All right, so right there is one SMT. London low at 150. Maybe that's the low of the day right there. That it's just raging. But these candles don't bug me. Like, I don't have anything I can do in here. These ones more so do. This is where I would was getting a little more of the FOMO. Was down in here because there's, like here's a mitigation block. You can kind of call that a breaker. It's got an inversion, but none of it was perfect or good enough even. So at this point, these 1 minute candles are relatively meaningless. Kind of zooming out. This, I guess the daily high is also this 6 a.m. candle, so I don't really want to mark that. Coming into the consequent encroachment of that same fair value gap, it's rejected price, which, I mean, maybe it's possible it does it again. So really don't want to get in front of a freight train. But I'm at least examining the possibilities of, is this a short? Coming in on 750. I don't have much time to even figure it out, to be perfectly honest. It's saying we have 15-minute consecutive candle high forming, but the problem with that is it's not confirmed. So there is this, no, there isn't, right up here. Can't see it. Zoom out. So no, there's no SMT there. Yeah, not, little stop hunt there potentially. Nothing for me to do. Pull up the macro times just to help keep me. So we are in macro. Whole week. Somewhere between about 9:50 and 10:30 has been the reversal. There's no SMT up in here. Confirmed. 15-minute chart. It's got a tailless candle. On the YM SMT. Order flow's bullish. I'm really not stoked about shorting. But it's built this beautiful trend line liquidity down in here. There's all these equal lows down in here. I'm going to zoom out some. So here at the daily chart, rejection block. One thing I was noticing, this level, we're above it currently. Zooming out on like looking at this the whole week on the 30-minute chart. Oop, nice stop hunt, push up. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right there. Weekly candle, still an inside candle. The consequent encroachment of the rejection block right there is just above. At the moment, I'm feeling like it's just one-sided delivery. Guess what's got me feeling bugged out is I feel like I often like look at the chart and I'm like, oh, that was it. And it's pretty easy to be like, oh, that was the trade. Like right here, that was it. Right? Nice trade at 1:58 a.m. New York. That was the smart money reversal. And right now, I'm just not seeing it. clean this up just a little bit. See what else we do. And the notable level right here is at about 623, 24, somewhere right in here. The 4-hour consequent encroachment of a 4-hour fair value gap that's previously resisted price. Time-wise, it's 9:55, so still in the macro. This whole week, a lot of this week, the 10 o'clock hour has been nicer than the 9:30, 10 o'clock time period. So trying to be patient. I guess maybe in a way, my mind's trying to make sense of this price action and forcing it, because there's a piece that's missing for me down here. The move doesn't fully make sense without that piece. And, you know, like, unless this was the stop hunt at 820, but this was a PD array salad, so there's 1 hour fair value gaps on both sides of all of this price action. 4-hour. I think we're coming for this liquidity this morning, but noting it. All right, so we have 3 minutes left of this 1 hour candle and the 4-hour candle. So here was earlier this week, 9:31 stage delivery. Just kind of looking at this for my reference. On this day here, we didn't even really get, at least in the AM session, an opportunity, for me at least. And there was just a consolidation all the way up until noon. What was this? August 7th was one-sided delivery. So kind of keeping that in mind. It's like I don't want to install a pre-programmed perception of what's going to happen today. But it's also possible that there's nothing to do. Whereas there was one day where it was 2-stage delivery, 2 nice reversals. I took this along here, got a 2R out of that. But the actual smart money reversal came in at 10 o'clock, right in there. And the other thing we've seen this week, twice, this kind of a seek and destroy style expansion. And especially specifically around this macro, the 920 to 940 macro. for certain seek and destroy, and then kind of just the wavelength was expanding further and then becoming, I mean, trending for sure, but still I would classify that as more or less seek and destroy because the opening range is not distributing. So that's been twice this week. Obviously, we're not getting that. So coming back to the chart here. All right, we got right here is the 10 a.m. open. So new 1 hour candle, new 4 hour candle. There's a large gap below. Inefficiency on the 1 hour, 15-minute, 4 hour. What I haven't seen a lot of lately is, and I remember this earlier in the year, 930 would do some distribution, and there'd be some kind of consolidation, and maybe form a couple equal lows, kind of thing. Manipulation, and then another expansion into the lunch hour. I haven't seen this profile in what feels like quite a while. That's been, I relied on that for quite a bit of my entries, my continuation style entries. And the market's just not in that cycle currently, and it'll go back. Just has been, feels like at least a couple months since I've seen a ton of those profiles. I feel like this has been more so the profile when it distributes, kind of like the one chart I just saw, and then it does this for like lunchtime. Maybe gives you a manipulation one way or the other, does something like that. So previous day high, and these daily rejection blocks are still up here at the 671 level. And part of what I'm thinking about back to down in here was what I was reading about with fear. And if you're fearful, you won't see the opportunity. And that's why I was analyzing this section of price action several times this morning, trying to figure out like, well, okay, I've had, I think I said 4-ish losses in a row on this account after a series of wins. So did the fear prevent me from seeing what I wanted to see down in here? Because what he was talking about in a video I was watching last night is how he did an experiment where he put the exact same chart in front of 10 traders, same candlesticks and everything, and how many different answers he got as to what the traders saw on the chart. Some saw it as bearish, some saw it as bullish, some saw it as chop, some thought they wanted to long the breakout, some wanted to short the manipulation. And it's so interesting that we all can see something so different here. And he was saying we carry into the markets the mirror, the reflection. So we carry into it whatever is actually inside us. And we have more than one trader that's inside of us, actually. We have 3. And between those 3 traders, well, the idea basically being, I want to condense it down quickly, is the logical human trader that we typically think we are, right? When we're writing out our trading plan, and like, you know, my look at this, see that trading plan, right? So neatly organized and check boxes and well thought out and logical and safe. And that's the trader that you think you are. But really, when you show up to the charts, like, and what I was explaining down in here, if I came into the session a little fearful and therefore I couldn't see the opportunity, is that the trader that showed up, right? Or the greedy trader who had to make it back and forced what wasn't actually there? Is that the trader that showed up? And that ultimately, when the candlesticks are moving against us or creating that reptilian fight or flight response, that's the part that actually responds first within like what, 0.002 of a second, right? The reptilian fight, flight, or freeze response. is the first response that you're going to get before the human trader. And I think that idea is super interesting. So I'm kind of floating that concept as I've been listening to it more, journaling it, and kind of taking it in for what it means for me. You know, and like with what I'm doing here, part of my whole idea with, I don't say gamifying or making this 90-day payout challenge was intentionally to remove the trading from it. I wanted to see, like previously on my last payout attempt, I had nothing to focus on other than making it and getting to that payout. This time it's like, well, what if I live stream? What if I make some content, make it a fun challenge, and then it becomes about the journey, right? Like documenting the journey more so than the outcome. And I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, if it'll work or won't work, but that's what I'm trying to see. All right, zooming out. It is 6 after 10. So a tailless candle on the 15, a volume imbalance down in here. Look at that, a 5-minute inversion right there. Would have been a play. I don't trade the 5-minute. Thought about it. Oh, there was no SMT down in there though, so. Still looking. Oh, is that an SMT? Right there. Subtle. Tapped into those daily rejection blocks. SMT there, so that was the play. That's what I was looking for and didn't see. I don't trade the 5-minute. But for me, that would have been like the closest I could have come to saying that was the model. So let's see here. Coming into the previous day high. That's also a 1-hour high, 4-hour high, and a daily. What are the daily? That rejection block. Oh yeah, that's it right there. So I don't actually need this level anymore. Previous day high marks that. It was the consequent encroachment of that rejection block right there. The weekly. Good morning, Mario, my friend. How you doing today, man? Did you get into any trades this morning? We got Chris Postal here, and he took a long, or excuse me, he shorted this London sweep and got a nice, probably 2R out of that, I believe. What about you, man? Got all this trend line liquidity. Doesn't mean it comes for it right now. What would be sweet is if it left that previous day high, came down, but hasn't done that in a while. You forgot to switch to regular trading hours soon enough. The wick filled the gap and shot up. I was expecting it to go lower before going up. Same here, dude. Same here. And we didn't get that, obviously. The closest I saw, maybe you just heard me explaining, was on the 5-minute. There's an SMT down in here. And a whole bunch of higher, like daily and weekly levels, rejection block levels. Like I was looking for a sweep of this into the 1 hour fair value gap. And it didn't want to do that. It swept this, took the SMT, and there's a whole bunch of stuff down in here. And what I wasn't liking was I've been noticing, I'll show you guys this right now. There's nothing to do, I guess, but I've been documenting the PD array salads, the higher time frame PD array salads. And I'm just noticing them this week. Well, I mean, I've always noticed them, but like I'm studying them this week. And so here is all of these are different 1 hour, 4 hour fair value gaps. This was 9:30. And we are getting this kind of like floating seek and destroy price action. And so these higher time frame PD array salads have been creating this over and over. And so for me, I was kind of noticing that down in here, just a PD array salad, right? We were at a 1 hour inversion, 1 hour fair value gap above, 1 hour fair value gap below. There was a 4 hour BPR, and just kind of seeing a lot of that same, like right in here, PD array salad stuff. So I was wanting to come down in here, get clear of that salad, and then move on upwards. This BPR here ultimately I think was kind of one of the clues, but this BPR combined with all those daily levels right there. However, I don't think I would trade it like, and that's one of the things I've been documenting in my journal is, would I take this trade again? And what that's kind of bringing into question to some extent is, which trader was I when I took it? Was I, you know, a gambler? Was I a fearful trader? And maybe I'm justifying it in my own head, but I wouldn't take anything down in here again, any which way, right? Like, cool, here's the bottom, figured it out. But I didn't have any means for engagement that would feel authentic to my rules. All right, previous day high is taken. Time-wise, it's 10:12. I always have to sit here and do that conversion, like look up at my clock. I know that's not right. I know it's 12 after. And then I got to look at the candles and go, all right, it's 10 o'clock New York time. Zooming out. So YM ended up, it was not correlated, and now it recorrelated itself, kind of did its own thing for a little bit. So that's interesting. Higher time frame wise, so we have an SMT starting to form, not confirmed probably. Daily highs with ES and YM, it's saying. So NQ, a previous day high. ES and YM did not. So that's is that a short I just missed, an inversion I just missed? Probably. Time-wise, it's not matching up. Something looks off to me too. I can't quite pinpoint it. So I'm gonna look around. Something looks off. I feel like it hasn't dug in deep enough. There's these daily, weekly rejection block levels. That was it, possibly. Too slow. It is. Right, so target acquired, previous day high. Leaving these inefficiencies on the 1 and the 4 hour. Not short was it. I was too slow. That market it in like I do. Boom. You are. I wanted time wise, what are we at? 10:10. So that technically closed 1 minute after. That would have been fine. So here would have been 75% away to my target. I would have gone break even at that point. So that'd be super interesting to reanalyze. I'm going to go back and watch this and see. I felt like something was off and I didn't engage. And who knows, maybe it's just a break even trade. Instead, we don't know the outcome quite yet. But I didn't engage. I was a little slow. I said something felt off. There's a new day opening gap right there. That was the thing I was wanting to see. A new day opening gap. So yeah, in hindsight, I probably would have taken that trade again. So I can document that as like, well, it was a good trade potentially, and I would take it probably even if it was a loser. Let's see. So let's recalibrate. I'm imagining it's going to break even if it's going to invert that. That tapped into, and this is the other, all right, so lately, exact thing has been happening, and I haven't been studying it quite yet but I wanted to. Is tapping into just this previous 15-minute fair value gap and taking off from here. So here's a stop hunt. Equal lows. Is this a so because it's a continuation play, right? So this idea would have been break even. Here was an inversion. Close above. I don't think I would be taking a long in here, given that previous day high was taken. That was what I was saying a few minutes ago, maybe 10 minutes, is I wanted to see it leave previous day high alone and then do something like this. Like it still could totally rip higher, but I don't think I can take a long here. But price action has been so bullish lately that you almost can. And that's what I was kind of saying on the 15 over here is, you know, expecting some retracement down into here, gap to form and a retracement, and it's almost not even giving those kind of setups right now. To me, maybe I'm missing it. So right now, the buyers are in profit. So I want to see it come down into here. Maybe that's all it had to do. No. And thinking out loud, like it could chop, just like the screenshot I shared a little bit ago from earlier in the week, Tuesday, August. I forget what day it was. But it gave one-sided delivery and then it just chopped till noon. Unconfirmed 15-minute consecutive candle SMT. There's that right there. Version. There. That was the short idea. Nothing's blatantly obvious to me. So just sitting, waiting. Time to zoom out a little bit. Finger at the 5-minute. So here's a fair value gap and a swing point. Probably above it, but I'll count it. The fair value gap. When fair value gaps form in swings, they're high probability. See, 15 minutes, tap down into that fair value gap. Wants it want. Do want on the 4-hour. I don't typically go back too many PD arrays. I do want to note this volume imbalance, actually. Those are very significant, and in my opinion, I find them to hold more weight than BPRs. Really interested in that. There's a bunch of BPRs in here too, so I will note those BPRs, include the volume imbalance. So this is one of those PD array salad kind of zones. All right, let's see what the other indices are doing. All relatively in sync. Quite in sync, actually. I feel like we saw the distribution, and if we don't see the distribution 9:30, we see it at 10ish, 10:30. Saw it at 9:30 to 10. So in my head, the likelihood of consolidating right here is high. Noting that so that way I don't overestimate the possibility of quality price action at this point in time, but also not wanting to just project what I want to see under the charts necessarily. Maybe a way to put it is trying to be open to seeing the charts both ways, not being greedy and forcing the idea of it's going to move onto the chart. Be curious to look at that. Oh, there we go, 1 hour. Where is it? One day this week where there was several compression candles morning. Thursday last week. Where was it? Got too much stuff going on. Oh, looks like it's moving. Check that out. But anyways, there was some 1 hour compression candles, like 10 a.m. Keeping that in mind for a possibility. So here we go. Tapped into the an old new day opening gap, tapped into this rejection block, consequent encroachment. Previous day high was taken. SMTs forming, confirmed. Kind of anticipating a fair value gap down in here. Thinking about it. Time wise, we're in the 1020 to 1040 Hydra macro. It's kind of dig into this zone here. A little more what I was looking for up in here with this 4-hour volume imbalance, previous day high. But the 1 hour to me is looking a little bit like it wants to create another gap above. So I kind of feel like this candle is going to close. We're going to have 2 gaps and then a retracement later on. So today's Friday, right? So Friday, at some point, we'll get the high of the week and a retracement for a TGIF setup, possibly. There's this week's low. Here's opening price. I'm going to reverse that for them. That would be a full retracement. Opening price right there. We don't know where the high of the week will be. I was kind of anticipating Thursday high of the week profile. So here's the weekly chart. We're tapping into this. That's a weekly consequent encroachment right now. Relatively significant, holds reasonable weight to me. So just kind of waiting to see for the TGIF possibility this afternoon. Here on the daily chart, pushing through this rejection block, coming into the bottom of another rejection block. All right, 1/3 ADR. So the long here was the play. I couldn't justify it. I haven't been able to justify anything today, apparently. I'm trying to like analyze that from a psychological perspective. Like, you know, is that conservativeness showing up in me today for a certain reason, or is it appropriate? Is that on a deep subconscious level my inner self protecting myself from any losses on a Friday so I don't have a bad weekend? So it's avoiding seeing the opportunity. The fear means I can't see the opportunity, and I didn't see this long as an opportunity. I had my reasons, but you always have your reasons, right? So my reasons here was, well, we already took liquidity, but it wanted more. That's kind of a deeper thought process that I've been exploring lately. Time wise, 10:34. So still just waiting. How's everybody doing out there? You all gotten yourself into any setups this morning? Chris has. We know Mario hasn't. At least not that I know of since we talked back in here. Go clean that up a little bit. I don't really want. It's. Oh, I'm on the 30-minute chart. Clean this up a little bit. Oh, you did go for the short? Yeah, you were seeing it too. You went against trust me, bro? Don't do. Oh, man. We all do it, though, right? Was it this inversion you took? At 10:11? Because I saw. Where did I see? I saw two. Yeah, this is the one I saw, and I'm like, that was the one I was like, I don't quite trust. That was the trust me, bro, for me. I was like, something was off. And then same here with this long, something was off. Like, Nasty Nas. I forgot what I was going to do. Right, I was zooming out. That's that. Well, relevant. And that one. This one. The IFVG entry, yeah. No. And like, maybe, gosh. Yeah, that was a tough call. I fumbled on that, and I bet if I wasn't fully paying attention, which meant had I anticipated that by about a minute earlier, there's a chance I would have entered, but I was more so in this candle, and it was kind of getting away from the IFVG. And so I was a little slow on that. I'm curious with rules. So my rules are like the stop is supposed to be below the IFVG. I probably would have picked this. I could have gotten my 2R out of that trade following my rules had I been like a minute earlier. There's a chance I would have taken it. I'm not saying like I should have won and you shouldn't have or anything like that. I'm just curious for myself. Like, man, I was a minute behind on that, and I might have taken it if I would. I said that earlier. I might have taken it. And then just curious, like where, previously I was putting my stop above, and it wouldn't have given me 2R. And that's all I'm analyzing is my new rule is where my stop is located, because that's been screwing me this week. I've been tucking my stop up more where I used to, and I took 2 losses this week because of that. And so I'm curious to analyze, well, if I would have tucked my stop up, even that would be a big stop for me now. That would have played out. So go figure, right? I didn't take the trade that would have played out, or could have played out had I seen it that way. But there's a chance that I would have done the larger stop loss because this week has been that way. This week has had deeper retracements, and I keep getting stopped out on winning trades. So who knows what I would have done, right? Hindsight. All right, what time is it? 10:40. Man, I don't know. I'm going to consider waking up for London. All week long, London to London has worked. Right there. Some trendline liquidity, which I wouldn't have liked, but there's the inversion. Let's see here. Would I have taken this? So here's the stop hunt. Was an inversion right there. That probably would have got me. And another stop hunt of the stop hunt. Is that in the right time? So it would have been in the 720 macro, whereas this guy would have been in the 750 macro. Okay, interesting. So we have some response. Gosh, I wasn't paying attention again. So too late. Dang it, I wasn't able to confirm any SMT. All right, so I'm going to say I screwed the pooch here. We have SMT forming. Technically still at entry. Time-wise matching. I just feel like I'm getting in front of a freight train. Oh, it's outside of macro. 1043. That's 1 minute outside of macro. All right. Yeah, this candle responds. So here's a stop hunt again. Five-minute. Looking around here real quick. There it took another 4-hour high. Here is some daily and weekly levels. Five-minute has a fair value gap down in here. So that does allow me for a continuation entry potentially. So far in premium. New 15-minute candle. $45 after. My mind is trying to process this, and it doesn't have a solid opinion either way. I can see it short, I can see it long. I can see this is like a continuation model longer, but I more so see it as short. And that feels off too. I feel like it gets into these patterns where it's like every short fails, so then you're sitting here going, well, this short's going to fail too, but it's actually the short that will play out. You know, I'm expecting some means of a retracement, possibly this morning, probably this afternoon. So still 48 after, outside of the macro. There could be an order block formed right here. Here's a retest of the order block. I'm kind of freezing. I'm noticing, not willing to take the entry for some reason. Super interesting. Afraid of a lunch consolidation. Afraid of pushing into the 11 o'clock hour with this expansion. I'm afraid of consolidation. Probably why. I'm afraid of losing, of course, too, right? And here, already the idea is invalid in my head. Closed above that volume imbalance. Could start chopping, looking a little zebra pattern like. Solid move down. I'm going to note this one for later. I like to go back later and evaluate what things I was really considering. Like I was really considering that. You probably heard me get quiet for a couple minutes. Like steam was probably coming out of my ears. So I'll come back and evaluate that later when I'm not in the heat of the moment. I'll note this one too, just because it was significant. I probably would have taken it. Whether I would have won or lost or broke even is unknown. So, quick little note so I don't have to rewatch this video. Eight minutes until this 1 hour candle closes. So here I would have tucked the stop nice and tight, because in my head, closing below here would mean that this price is not going to come up into here. So that would have given a tighter 2R. Still might fail. Whoa. It's a flag on a premium. I know, right? Hope it dumps. Yeah, me too. I do and I don't. I actually want to be wrong here, because like I'll be like, oh, I really froze and I didn't take that short. But it's also nice to call it right too. We're so tough on ourselves, aren't we? Like, I'd sit there and go, man, I made all these right calls, but I took all the wrong calls, and I'm terrible for it. And I wouldn't. It would take mental power to shift that perspective to say, I at least saw the right calls. Like, really, for me, I think about this. I don't really have a play unless I get back down into here. Gets back down into here. So one's pushing towards TP. You do that all the time, Mario? Yeah, like you want to beat yourself up over it. And so then you spend all this mental energy flipping it. So you're not beating yourself up. You're like, well, I'm seeing it, I'm getting it. Luck of the draw. Like, that's so important. Otherwise we don't keep going forward, right? Look at that. TP hit pretty much. So that would have played out. That's like, gosh. There. I would have gotten my close below right there, so it would have been a little early. But hey, it's okay. I seen it. I'll journal that a little later. Currently, I'm not wanting to get myself into too much trouble today. So kind of looking around, getting calibrated. So me, I'm still bullish. Keep seeing shorts, and I'm bullish. So new plan is I want to see something come down into this fair value gap, and then I'd be interested. Take this candle's low, push higher. I'd be interested then. took those equal highs. Leave that there for journaling later, kind of thing like that. Unless this is the high of the week, which tapped into a significant level, then that would make this an inside candle. I guess part of my question is, do we continue up for taking the previous week's high before TGIF, or is this the start of the TGIF altogether? Looks something like that. Previous day high was taken. Really, I don't have anything to do until it comes down into here. If it does at all, it might not. So I'm gonna shut the stream down. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, keeping me company while I sit here and babble on. Hope you all had a wonderful day, and it's Friday, so let's enjoy the weekend. Let's take a break. Let's be with our families and take a moment and appreciate all that we do have, and appreciate this incredible opportunity that's in front of us, that God has given us this inkling to explore and grow. You know, I find that trading has caused me to force myself to grow, which I've always been growth. Like, I spend countless hours and weeks all year working on my growth mindset, but trading really pushed me to, and I'm sure for you all too, really pushed me to exponentially increase that growth. And as I was talking earlier at the beginning of this recording, with the charts being a mirror for what's inside of you, you know, I was sheepish. I wrote that word down this morning, sheepish. I felt sheepish, and I'm curious to look back and see how that played out in the charts, right? I didn't take a trade. So anyways, I was saying I'm shutting down the stream. I need to go get myself some coffee, some eggs, fill the belly. I might come back a little later and see if I can get something down in here more into discount, along into discount. Other than that, I think it's been an okay week, and I'm all